While I wait on breakfast, I figured I'd go ahead and do my post-fight update. If you watched, hopefully you did, watched our fights. I apologize. The podcast got a little bit late. I don't know what the hell happened, but podcast got a little bit late. But my predictions were pretty much spot on. Pretty much spot on. Nakatilia took a loss like I figured he would. Cameron got it done against Katie Taylor like I figured she would do. And then the fight, Devin Haney and Lomachenko. And that's what I want to talk about here. Because online, and I'm going to make some statements that are going to piss some people off. I'm just going to warn you straight up. I'm going to make some statements that are going to piss some people off. I don't mind having a good civil discourse about boxing. I don't, because I want to talk boxing with boxing fans, not marks, fans. If you're a boxing fan, and again, I do make the distinction. If you're a boxing fan, you will recognize one of three outcomes as acceptable. Outcome one, you have it close for Lomachenko. Outcome two, you have it close for Devin Haney. Outcome three, you have it a draw. These all three are acceptable outcomes if you're a boxing fan. If you're a boxing mark, you're one of the various people out there screaming that Lomachenko got robbed. That's not what happened. Lomachenko didn't get robbed. It was a close fight. It was a close fight only because there were moments where Devin Haney took his foot off the gas. There were moments where Lomachenko took his foot off the gas. And there was, unfortunately, Lomachenko started being subject to the body shot. I don't know why he never adjusted away from that, but he was just subject to the body shot, getting it land all the time. Devin Haney was getting the left over the top constantly, wasn't seeming to be able to defend it. So both guys had these gaps in the game. I'm going to put it out, and I don't care. Again, as watching the fight, and I looked at Max Kellerman's card, and he's full of crap. Now, to be fair to him, he did say he gave Loma rounds, but it was razor thin close, as in he could have seen it either, but he barely gave it to Lomachenko. You know what? I'll let you slide on it. But there was, I think he said rounds, 4 through 7? And he just gave Lomachenko. No. No. So watching this, early on, I thought Devin Haney was certainly better, even though round 1 was kind of a toss. I felt like Devin Haney was better. Lomachenko seemed to step it up, but then Haney adjusted, and his adjustment was subtle. And it feels like many people either don't care or don't recognize or don't even know how to acknowledge body work. Because it's easy to see a head snap back and you're like, okay, cool. Or it's easy to see these pointless flurries that Manny Pacquiao and Lomachenko like to do. And you can't gauge the precision of certain shots that are actually more damaging. Even when you have a slow motion replay showing you these shots, a lot of people seem to be ignoring Devin Haney's body work because his body work was amazing. It was amazing. Lomachenko's best shots did land and landed awesome, like the left over top. Absolutely. The flurries every now and then, sure. I'm going to tell you, I don't just give somebody a round because they flurry to try to steal the round. That's not how it works for me, brother. I like to see again, the 4 criteria. And let's go down them. Sure. Effective aggression. Okay. The key word there is effective. It's not just aggression, because Loma was the aggressor for, I'd say, probably 80% of the fight. But effective aggression, I argue no. The aggression was not effective. Loma would come in, Devin would land a shot to the body and make Loma reset. That was a story of the fight. So his aggression was not effective. Devin Haney was not the aggressor, so it doesn't score for him and it doesn't score for Loma. So you kick that out of there, right? Punches landed. If you look at the accuracy numbers they showed you on the screen, Devin Haney was landing with more accuracy than Lomachenko. Devin Haney was making Loma miss more than any other of Loma's opponents have ever been able to do. So if we go by punches landed, that's accuracy. That leans slightly toward Devin Haney, not greatly. Loma certainly did win in the later, the championship rounds, but overall, because it's a fight, 12 rounds, overall, Devin Haney largely was able to nullify Lomachenko's accuracy. So punches could not go Loma's way. They had to go towards Devin Haney. Some people only score certain type of punches that they like, power punches, for example, and they dismiss the jab unless it's Golovkin. But no, it's punches, period. It's punches. That's what it is. Defense, effective defense. Both guys were defensively brilliant in the fight. The difference, though, Lomachenko was never able to properly defend the body when it was coming at him. Devin Haney was, I'd say, infrequently able to defend when the left came over the top. But look at the nature of the damage of the shots landed. The body work from Devin Haney was slowing Loma down. You could clearly see it, arguably starting from about round 9-ish. You could clearly see that the body work was affecting him. You could see that the body punches were landing. You could see his ribs turning red and everything else. People don't seem to understand or gauge or respect how body work affects a fighter. It's one of the most effective punches you can throw. So when I go off of defense, I'm looking at, number one, were you able to land on your opponent? And again, Lomachenko wasn't able to land on Devin Haney anywhere near as the opponents, but also, are you susceptible to the same shot over and over again? That's a poor defensive strategy. And Lomachenko was susceptible to the body shot over and over again. He was susceptible to the uppercut coming in. When he would try to come in and throw a flurry and Devin would hit him with the uppercut, beautiful. It happened round after round after round. Devin Haney was able to make Lomachenko miss. I'll even flip it and say, I won't give it to either guy because Devin Haney was getting hit the left over top. But Lomachenko certainly didn't win the shit either because of the body work he was getting hit on. So then you get to the big one. So if we set this all and we say punches has got to land on Devin Haney's, no pun intended, side. If we give him punches and the other two are nullified, that leaves us the most important criteria, ring generalship. Who is it that appears to be dictating the pace of the fight? Who is it that appears to be fighting their fight? Who is it that appears to be not dominant in terms of punches thrown, landed, or otherwise, but visually appears to be most in control of the flow of the fight? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children over the ages of 16, that has to be Devin Haney. Devin Haney was the one dictating a pace. Lomachenko was not able to do to Devin Haney what he did to many of his other opponents, just like Lomachenko wasn't able to do it to Teofimo for the same reasons. Teofimo was forcing him to reset. Teofimo was catching him coming in. Lomachenko has a defensive gap, and Devin Haney was exploiting that gap. Many people out there swear it's all about power, power, power. No, it's not. The visual of the fight, Lomachenko never looked like he was in true control except for maybe round 11 and round 3. I'll give him round 3 for sure in terms of control. Round 11, sure. But if I say, for me, total control of the round, at no point other than rounds 3, 4, and some of the later rounds did I see Lomachenko in control of the round and control of the pace and control of the action. It felt like Devin Haney was really more in control. Just because Lomachenko's moving doesn't mean he's in control, because if Loma comes in and he gets nailed with an uppercut or nailed with a body shot and forced to reset, that means you're not in control. If you're constantly having to reset because of the shots landed on you, that means you're not in control. Lomachenko was not in control the vast majority of the fight. So if I take that Lomachenko was not in control the vast majority of the fight, which is what I saw, and no, it's not about the brief flurries trying to steal the last 30 seconds of the round, because that's not how I score it, dude. It is total for the whole 3 minutes. Who looks like they're controlling the positioning? Who looks like they're controlling the pace? Who looks like they're more in control of the pace and the story of the fight being told to me? That was Devin Haney by and large. Given all of that, again, you're a boxing fan. You're okay with a close win for Lomachenko. You're okay with a close win for Devin Haney. You're okay with a draw. There's no robbery here. People are looking at Lomachenko breaking down in tears, and they're being set off. People are looking at Devin Haney's push at the weigh-in, and they're getting set off. It's heel versus good guy. That's what they see, and so they already emotionally were tuned towards the, quote, good guy, even though Loma's not, but the good guy in this. And to them, they saw the flurries, and they remember Manny Pacquiao, and for them, that's what wins the round, is that you're just throwing and throwing and throwing and throwing. They see that Lomachenko is constantly moving, so for them, that's a win. They see that, and it's actually interesting, Lomachenko was hugging just as much as Devin Haney, and then people, whatever. So people are looking at certain criteria and they're gifting Loma rounds. Max Kellerman basically admitted gifting Loma rounds. He basically admitted gifting Loma 4 rounds. He said it was razor, barely. That means you gifted it to him. Because when I look at those rounds that he gifted to Lomachenko, Devin Haney's body work was being dismissed. And you only gave it to him because Lomachenko was flurrying to steal the rounds. You're gifting him rounds. That's cool. If you openly admit that's what you're doing. If you openly acknowledge the body work's there and you don't care about body work, if you openly admit that you just don't like Devin Haney and so you're going to gift it to the guy you do like, as long as you admit these things, I got no problem with you. Boxing marks, though, out there who swear it's a robbery. This was not a robbery. That was not a robbery. I saw the Bob Arum sound bit talking about you won that easy. No, he did not win it easy. Bob Arum likes to talk. He likes to talk. And he'll say one thing to Lomachenko, and I guarantee you he said something. He said the same thing to Devin Haney. You beat him easy. Because that's Bob Arum. He's slimy. That's how it works. He doesn't mean what he's saying. The truth is, if you dismiss Devin Haney's body work, I can argue a Loma win, but only if you dismiss Devin Haney's body work. If you're a boxing fan, you should not be dismissing the body work because the body work was tremendous in the rounds where he started throwing it, and Loma seemed to have no answer for it. However, I'm cool if you're a true fan and you have Loma winning close and it's just disappointing. The judges saw it differently. If you look at the scorecards, they certainly favored Devin Haney's countering and Devin Haney's body work and Devin Haney's check hooks. That's subjective. You can prefer to have that. You can say, I just prefer that type of a style. I prefer this. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not a robbery. A robbery would be, like Williams Lara. If you sat there and had Devin Haney completely washing Lomachenko, okay, that's still somewhat subjective, but I didn't see any of the judges having him washing Lomachenko. They had it reasonably close for the most part. Maybe there was one card that's a little bit off. There's always one card a little bit off. You got to remember, they're watching the fight from different sides of the ring. Some of the punches is hard to see, depending on the angle, because they're constantly moving. You can't see, okay, did that land or did that not land? Then I saw people talking about Devin Haney's punches landing on gloves. Landing on gloves does not visibly move you back. Landing on gloves does not visually lift you off your feet. He was landing to the body. He was not landing on gloves. Lomachenko very infrequently was able to block that shot to the body, and he certainly wasn't blocking the uppercut hardly at all. So no, I personally felt that Devin Haney did just enough. It was close. I certainly did not see a robbery, but I can justify a Loma win if that's how you felt and you scored different shots differently, or you favored certain punches, or you just simply don't like Devin Haney and just say, you know what, I had Loma winning close. It is what it is. Let's run it back. If they're going to run it back, or if Devin moves up, whatever, Loma will get another shot. And, certainly I called it on the podcast at combattalkradio.net that Lomachenko is still there and Devin Haney had to go after him. To make it clear, he had to go after him to make it clear. He didn't go after him at all. He waited for Loma to come in because he knew that Loma was going to come in. Like I said, he's going to come after you, and he employed a counter strategy. The thing with the counter strategy, though, is when you do that, you're putting yourself at risk. You're putting yourself at risk that, like he was, getting tagged upstairs, because when Loma does come in, he adjusts. He mentally adjusts, and he'll start throwing different shots from different angles. And I think that's what got people tricked into thinking that it was a robbery, because when Loma started adjusting, Devin Haney looked less in control for those rounds. My point is, I only saw maximum 5 of those rounds where Devin seemed to lose that control. In the other 7, I felt that Devin Haney still had control of the situation. 1 is arguably toss-up. That's round 1, I mean. So then that's a draw. Okay, so I'm okay with a draw. I'm okay with a Devin close. I'm okay with a Loma close. I didn't see a robbery here at all. I think people are scoring what they want to score, and that's fine, just like the judges do. It is what it is. But if you are a boxing fan and you heard what I said and you take your emotions out of it and you really want to discuss the outcome and you hear what I'm saying and you understand, and maybe you go back and watch it again and you recognize, you know what, he's right. Those body shots were pretty damn damaging to this dude, and you want to discuss it, I would love to. That's who I want to talk to. Boxing fans, not marks, talking about robbery and all this. No, there was no robbery here that I saw. I saw a pretty close fight, and I did see Shakur saying that Lomachenko won the fight. Shakur is trying to sell He's trying to sell. That's what he's trying to do. Or better yet, maybe Shakur wanted Lomachenko to win because he sees Lomachenko as the easier opponent to beat. Ha ha.